gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest. Get your hand off my penis! This is the bloke who got me on the penis before. What is the charge? Eating a meal? A succulent Chinese meal? What is the charge? What is the charge? Get your hand off my penis! Eating a meal? A succulent Chinese meal? Eating a meal? Eating a meal? A succulent Chinese meal? This is the bloke who got me on the penis before.
Hello, everybody. Dutch was frantically waving his arms around to me to cut that short, but how could I cut that song short? That is
because I only did 30 seconds worth.
That is Saved by the 80s, our normal song by All Good Folks that Dutch has re-edited to with some fun stuff for our 25th episode. Holy shit. Somehow we have made it to episode 25, and I think that's pretty rad. With me, as you already heard, we have Dutch.
Yo.
Hey, Dutch. Oh, shit, sorry.
So you can cut that music off.
No, I can never.
At least we know you can cut music off. That's what we're... You know what I love the most about that?
There you go.
Thank you. I loved how during that whole thing... Bolo's mic was not muted, and we could hear him eating his succulent meal.
Yeah, his succulent bowl of ice cream.
But what
Bolo got
happened
a
was,
headset.
yeah, but here's the thing. I turned off, I hit mute, and I couldn't hear the intro. So I unmuted and was able to hear it.
Oh.
So your headset is not as good as you said it was.
It's pretty awesome that I'm coming through much clearer than I have ever.
You are. You sound phenomenal.
Thank
it's
you,
like
bro.
You're in the room with me. And that, of course, is Bolo.
Yes, sir.
And he was here for episode 1, and he's here for episode 25. It's the mighty Quinn.
Hey, people. Man, you got to find a better recording of that.
I know. Maybe I'll get Dutch to make one. He's good with he's good with
yeah,
stuff.
Sure. I mean, just, I'll make more than 30 seconds worth this time.
So you can upload to YouTube now. Like they want you to upload podcasts, not videos. They want you to upload your podcast, your RSS stream. If you know anything about podcasting, you get something called an RSS stream, which is what you share to like all the different Spotify, Apple, whatever, all the different YouTube or all the different podcast apps. You just send them your RSS stream. So you can send your RSS stream to YouTube. They will make a podcast out of it, which basically just shows whatever your cover photo is for that specific episode. So I sent them all of our first 24 episodes. and I made them all private because I wanted them all download first before I actually made them live. We got so many copyright strikes. It was mind-boggling.
Who could have seen that coming?
Now, you can argue them, and I have argued all of them, and I think I successfully argued all of them.
Nice.
Because you can say that we're using the music for the purposes of like discussion and review. And for the most part, they don't. And the places that were all blocked were weird. Like we were blocked in Russia and like Belarus.
Oh, who gives a shit?
Yeah, so I was like, well, whatever. But then I did want to kind of go through the whole like, well, how do I actually try to get around this? So I did. They're all still private. I uploaded the only one that I made public is the last episode we did, and it has 2 views because, dude, who is going to watch a 2-hour podcast on YouTube that has a static background? Like, if this was a 20-minute podcast, I would think that there was some value of like putting it on YouTube, but like, it makes no sense to me. Like why YouTube?
I feel like this is a behind the scenes discussion that we're having. Like,
I know, but I'm just sharing. I'm a sharing guy. So anyway, here's some more behind the scenes stuff. We've changed our podcast host to Buzzsprout, and as you may have noticed, when you check our description now, there's a little link where you can send us a text message, which is kind of cool. Yeah, so that's cool. And we actually got a text message from somebody. I don't know who it is.
Vladimir Putin wondering why the hell he can't listen in Russia.
Yeah, maybe. But we did get a text message. So if you send us a text message, like sign it or something, because it doesn't tell me anything about who it's from. It just tells me where it came from, and that is it. So
it's from Bolo. I'm sure of it.
No.
As long as those are going to your phone, buddy.
Yeah, it doesn't even come to my phone. It goes to the app. So it just goes to the Buzzsprout.
Was it like an emoji man?
No.
Saying something? Because I'm sure it was Bolo.
No, but we also got mail from a listener too. So I figured we'd make a new segment where we open mail or read mail, and here it comes.
You've got mail. Pattern baldness.
That's awesome.
The first listener who text messaged me where that soundbite comes from, I'll mail you a prize. Here it is again.
You've got mail. Pattern baldness.
That you might know.
That is fantastic.
You listen to it 1 or 2 more times. So anyway, we got fan mail from someone in Montebello, California. They said, "Love the show. When you're going to discuss the Apple show Sunny, it seems right up your alley." I do not have Apple. I don't know if anybody else has Apple, but I looked up that show, and it does sound like it would be right up some of our alleys. It sounds kind of interesting.
Right.
So when I resubscribe to Apple, I may check it out.
Was that like snail mail that you got?
No, that was the text message.
Oh God, because I'm like you when you said that, you held up like you brought that.
I got snail mail too.
I'm like, what is happening?
Yes, somebody sent me a little postcard that said, "Please watch the Apple show Sunny." From Montebello, California.
It was just good timing the way that
signed Apple.
Signed Apple. Wouldn't that be funny if it was just like an advertisement from Apple?
We're gonna have to work. We're gonna have
it's
to
like
work
Apple's
on
AI bot.
Yeah, just sending random text messages to podcast. But we did get a package from listener Derek, friend of the show, and I'm opening it, and I know this is not a visual medium, so just imagine me opening a large manila envelope. And it's dark in here, so I'm gonna have to squint to read this.
So you didn't open that prior, right?
No.
Oh, great.
And I can't read it. It says just hang on. I'm gonna turn my flashlight on my phone because my old man eyes cannot see in the dark. Just a little unexpected gift to foster your nostalgic heart and Quinn's too. Haha. I've really enjoyed the show. Good to hear you guys' voices. Sorry, I know maybe it's because I turned 50. LOL. Sappy, I know. Maybe it's because I turned 50. Okay, so let's see what he's saying. Apparently it's for me and you, Quinn. It appears to be stacks of football cards. But hang on.
Tell me
they're old. Oh shit, they're old. Like mine has Randall Cunningham.
Oh, nice.
Like a stack of Eagles football cards and a stack of Steelers football cards.
I was
So,
gonna
like,
say,
hot damn.
How cool is that?
If there's Bills cards in there, then you know somebody sent us Juice's card.
So Quinn, yours had, I don't know, I'm probably not going to know half these players because the Steelers, David Little.
David Little doesn't ring a bell.
There's a Willie Parker.
Oh, yeah.
Thomas Everett. I don't know who the
Super
hell that
Bowl
is.
champion Willie Parker.
Jerry Oslavsky, outside linebacker.
Oh, yeah.
Monty Dawson, center. There's
Hall
a
of Famer.
James Harrison.
Derek.
In there. Yeah.
Holy cow. If I remember right, Derek was he was a Minnesota Vikings fan back in the day.
Long-suffering Vikings fan.
I don't know why I remember that, but I do.
Yeah, he is. I remember that as well. In fact, I think he may have been at the Eagles NFC Championship. No, I don't think he was at that when they smacked the Vikings. That's awesome, Derek. Thank you. That's cool as shit. I will definitely open mine and display them with all of my other retro goodies down here. So that's cool.
That is fantastic, Derek. Thank you. I'll enjoy the hell out of those.
Good shit. So yeah, like I said, episode 25. Thanks everybody who has listened. Thanks to anyone who has been a host. We have had Aaron, not Gen X Aaron, and then we've also had Aaron from the Autopod Decepticast on an episode. We had Mike Russo on an episode. Who am I forgetting? Am I forgetting anybody? I don't think so.
We need to give young Aaron a redemption episode. We made him watch The Day After. I think
he was also
traumatized him.
He was also on the classic Christmas episode as well. So yeah, thanks for the mail. You want to jump right into the news because there's a lot of
let's do it.
news. All right, so the first bit of news, and we got a lot of RIPs, but the first RIP is to an internet legend who appeared on the internet for the first time, I want to say, back in 2009.
Yeah, 09.
And it is Jack Carlson.
Gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest.
Jack Carlson, made famous for his arrest while enjoying a succulent Chinese meal, died at 82. The video that made him famous was taken on October 11th of 1991. And like I said, it was uploaded on the internet sometime in 2009. It became like a viral meme. The video depicts Jack Carlson being arrested for paying for a Chinese meal with a supposedly stolen credit card. Carlson had a lifelong career of petty crime, began in 1956. He was in prison for much of the first half of his life. And apparently he frequently escaped from prison. There's actually an article on him in The Guardian that's pretty good. And there's a documentary coming out next year called The Man Who Ate a Succulent Chinese Meal. So if you've never seen the video, just go on YouTube and type succulent Chinese meal or
Democracy Manifest.
Democracy Manifest. But the whole, it's only maybe like a minute and a half long. Here is basically the gist of it.
You just assured me that I could.
Now imagine he's a large man. He towers over the policemen who are trying to arrest him. And there are quite a few policemen trying to arrest him. And he's a fairly burly kind of guy. And he's struggling with the police.
What country is this? Is this New Zealand or Australia?
He's Australian. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Showing anything. Under arrest.
Look, I'm under what? Gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest. Have a look at the headlock here. See that chap over there? Get your hand off my penis! This is the bloke who got me on the penis before. Why did you do this to me? What is the charge? Eating a meal? A succulent Chinese meal? Oh, that's a nice headlock, sir. Oh, yes. I see that you know your judo well. Good. And you, sir, are you waiting to receive my limp penis? How dare get your hands off me. Ta-da! And farewell.
Yo.
So yeah. there's
I
like
love the rolled R's, like like Victorian nobility.
yes. When he says for what, when they're like you're under arrest, and he says I'm under what?
What is the charge?
Just that like I'm under what is so funny.
The what is fantastic because he's already pressed up against the car. when the cops surrounded him, they're like, "You're under arrest." What?
Well, that was a classic video. So, dude, I'm not gonna lie, I'm 100% watching that documentary soon.
Yeah, I was gonna say, talk about right up your alley.
Yeah, it's freaking perfect.
Oh,
And then we lost Kevin Sullivan. If you're a wrestling fan, Kevin Sullivan was pretty. He was a pretty solid, entertaining wrestler. He was in the Dungeon of Doom. He was also very important behind the scenes. He supposedly is the man who convinced Hogan to turn heel and join the NWO.
I don't know if that's the case, but
No,
there's a lot. That's one of those things that a lot of people claim to have. I mean, I think that. I mean, I heard that was always Bischoff who wanted that to happen. But if you
Bischoff, of course, yeah.
You can't take Hulk Hogan's word for anything. So I mean,
no. He was also apparently behind Goldberg Streak. Was a big proponent of doing the Goldberg Streak when that was a big thing, and he booked his own divorce by accident when he he was married to a woman who later became Nancy Benoit, because booked himself in a feud with Chris Benoit, and the feud was based on the pretend angle that his wife, woman, was having an affair with Chris Benoit, and then Chris Benoit and woman began having a real affair, and he left his wife, or she left him for Chris Benoit. And
that didn't turn out well for anybody.
And ultimately, Chris Benoit ended up murdering her and his son, and then killing himself.
Good Lord.
Yeah. But yeah,
that was a whole mess. That was a whole mess.
Yeah.
that was a fucking tragedy and a half, to say the least.
Yeah. Then we lost Rachel Lillis, who I don't have fond memories of the Pokemon cartoon, but I know people younger than me probably do. She was the voice of Misty on Pokemon, Jessie, and she passed away at 46 from breast cancer, which is fucking awful. Yeah,
awful.
And she did tons of voices in anime, cartoons, video games, you name it. She did a ton of voices. And then some Gen X ones. Greg Kinn died at the age of 75. He's obviously a singer of Jeopardy and the Breakup Song is the other one that he's known for. Yeah. And like I said in the chat, man, I went and watched the Jeopardy video right after I saw it, and that video is still fucking awesome.
It was terrifying as a kid.
It was creepy as a kid, yeah.
Yeah.
And
you guys remember that one?
Where he's in the church, and every time
when you're done drinking, can you tell us if you remember that one or not?
Yes, I did.
I think
the song was this the song where it's like "I love you, Jeopardy, baby."
I love Jeopardy. Yeah.
Yeah, that video was very memorable.
Everything gets progressively strange.
Nice little version of that.
There's a Weird Al version of that. Yeah. But yeah, the video, first he sees like his in-laws are handcuffed, and then he turns around a minute later and there's like some weird, strange thing between the two of them. Like, I don't know, some flesh creature between. It's like there's a whole bunch of weird shit in the video.
Yeah, agreed.
That's a great song, great video. And then Jack Russell of Great White died.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, he had just retired last month after being diagnosed with Lewy body dementia and multiple system atrophy.
Whew.
I don't know what those are, but none of it sounds good.
None of it sounds good.
Yeah.
Great White was the Once Bitten, Twice Shy band. Is that?
Once Bitten, Twice Shy, yeah. And he actually was a really good singer. And then, of course, later on, they were known for that fire at the station nightclub.
And that was not even like the official Great White. That was Jack Russell's Great.
Jack Russell's
Didn't he go on and off between like Great White and Jack Russell's Great White or some shit like that.
One of those things, like a lot of those hair bands do that. Like Rat will do like Stephen Piercy's Rat, and like so. But yeah, so I think that I'm sure that weighed on his mind heavily in his later years, for good reason, because it was pretty fucking awful.
Yeah.
And then yesterday, at age 88, Phil Donahue died, a staple of many a sick day.
Yep.
For people of our age.
That's right.
He was he never really dove too far down into the muck. Like he was never like in the Jerry Springer level of
he wasn't even quite into the Maury level either. He was just slightly above that.
Yeah.
I think that was just a matter of timing, no? Like if he had come out 5 years later.
Yeah, probably.
He'd have been right in there with him.
Yeah. And and obviously he produced a ton of game shows and
yeah, but if you were homesick as a little kid, that's what your mom was watching, and you were watching it too.
You were watching it, yeah.
Agreed.
And, married to Marlo Thomas.
Yep.
Who I spoke to on the phone one time.
Why did you speak to Marlo Thomas?
Because their credit card was past due. When I was a bill collector at Bank of New York. She was not the nicest person, but
nobody is in that scenario.
I was calling to tell her that her assistant had failed to pay their credit card, and it was like 35 days past due or something. So,
do you by any chance remember what the amount was?
No, we had a lot of celebrity people when I worked there that had credit cards that we could, because you could just look them up. So I remember I used to look up Dan Aykroyd's stuff.
They have laws about that kind of thing now.
But,
you definitely can't do it now, I'm sure.
But I remember in training, they were showing us accounts for Tom Cruise and David Letterman. They were showing them to us as training tools. Yeah. And now if you were even look up something like that, it'd get flagged and you'd be pulled out of your chair.
Oh, I can't even. Yeah, I'm sure. But yeah, I remember in training, they used like the celebrities' accounts. Like, oh yeah, let's take a look at what Dan Aykroyd's been buying. Oh look, he's been at the liquor store. So, yeah, fun. Disney. Have you heard this shit with Disney? This dude's wife died.
Yeah.
She had a succulent Irish meal at the Irish restaurant and died because she had a peanut and milk allergy.
Yeah,
my God.
This lawsuit is crazy. Their argument is crazy. Go ahead, Brian.
She was, I'm allergic to peanuts and milk, and they were like, there's no peanuts and milk in this thing, and there were, and she died. So her husband is trying to sue them.
As one does.
As you would think you would do, and they are saying he cannot sue them because he has waived all rights to lawsuits, any litigation with Disney when he signed up for his free 1 month Disney Plus trial membership. In the fine print of the membership agreement,
what you agree to is you can't sue Disney.
You can only do settlements outside of litigation with Disney if you sign up.
Aren't they also trying to argue that the restaurant is not even like under even though, because like what was it? The restaurant was located at because it was was it in Orlando?
I think it was in a park, wasn't it?
Actually, okay. Because that was the part that I was like a little bit confused about, because like they were trying to say, well, this is an independent restaurant, and it's like it's still on Disney grounds. I don't know, like.
Yeah, and I think the amount he's trying to sue him for is like insanely low. Like it's under $100,000, I think.
What the? Come on, dude, go for broke.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well go for $100 million.
Kidding me, man? The mouse has endless pockets.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Disney, just pay the man. Holy crap! You know what I mean? He killed his wife. You can't pay him under $100,000.
Yeah. I think they're not. I think they know they're going to lose, but I think they're just like, fuck it. Like, what if we win?
They want to test out that.
And then there's precedent for this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then everything that you've signed, all your things that you've signed, and you get run over by an Amazon truck. Well, you in your Prime membership agreement, you can no longer sue us.
Wow.
Holy cow!
Yeah.
So
Don't mess with the mouse.
Keep that in mind if you go to Disney. If you have a membership to Disney Plus, the guy in the Mickey Mouse suit can physically assault you. You cannot.
You
cannot do anything about it.
You might be, or maybe not be surprised how many people. Thankfully, I mean, it's probably not too many, but like how many people think that like allergies are a joke, like food allergies, and I'm like, that's like right here, like, and this isn't even the first time like something like this has fucking happened, but we're just hearing about it because it's so high profile with Disney. But it's like people that joke about that stuff, I'm just like, you are out of your damn mind, man. You're messing with people's lives.
Yeah, the amount of stories I've read on Reddit, and now you have to take them with a grain of salt because we're on Reddit, but especially in like the in-law subreddits and things like that, or the parenting subreddits, where it's like my kid has an allergy to this, and my parents don't believe that it's a real thing, so they snuck some peanuts into the recipe the other night, and my kid's now in the hospital. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Jesus.
It wasn't a thing when we were young.
I love it. I was just gonna say, I love that BS freaking retort, because it's like, no, it definitely was a thing. We just didn't know why.
Yeah, little Billy just died one day, and you didn't know why.
Why are we laughing at that?
I don't know what happened. One day we were just in the cafeteria, and little Billy got all bloated and turned purple and keeled over. I don't know.
Good Lord.
He was eating peanuts.
Yeah, not cool.
Yeah.
Jesus.
How about this, Dutch? How do you feel about this? James Wan set to direct the Creature from the Black Lagoon remake.
Set to direct, or is he rumored to direct?
Rumored to direct.
Yes. I mean, since they sort of abandoned this Universal Dark Universe thing, I actually really liked how they pivoted with the Invisible Man movie, the remake, and I'm a big fan of the original, and I really like that. I cannot wait for Del Toro's Frankenstein movie, and I don't know. I mean, like, did you see what was it, Malignant?
Yeah.
That movie was so off the freaking wall, like bonkers off the wall.
Was that the one with the girl with two heads?
Yeah. And
spoilers.
It was right after Aquaman was like $1 billion success. So the studio basically wrote him, I think, a blank check, but it was like, and good for him, by the way. He made the movie he wanted to make.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, it's one of those things. We have really a few types of online discourse whenever we get rumors now. It's either nobody asked for this, or it's gonna suck. How? Trust me, bro.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm just like, to me, I'm just at a point where, like, hey, you know what? Maybe it'll be cool. Maybe it'll suck. I don't know. Let's just wait and see. But I don't really have an opinion of it, just because it's, how do you judge something that's only rumored?
Yeah, but I kind of hope they make it, and I hope it's good. That's my favorite.
They've been trying to do a remake of Creature for
years,
like decades. Yeah, at least going back to the 90s.
That's my favorite of that second wave of Universal horror movies.
Yeah.
Like, and the original Creature from the Black Lagoon, like, if you've never seen it, it's really good. It's like,
it's fantastic.
It's got kind of it's got an adventure movie vibe to start, but then it definitely turns into the horror movie vibe where they're trapped, like where the creature has trapped them in the lagoon and they can't figure out a way to get out.
In the grotto, yeah.
Yeah, he's got the trees and things blocking the
oh, you mean when they? I'm sorry, I misunderstood. You mean like right when they get in there, he sort of?
Yeah, like he like pulls down branches or what have you, and they can't really get themselves out. The effects are fantastic. The underwater effects are incredible.
Not only that suit, looks so good to this freaking day. It looks like completely realistic on screen, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
I heard that Universal is having doing one of their theme parks is going to have like a MonsterVerse themed section where they're going to have Dracula's castle and Frankenstein's lab and things like that. And I think they're going to have like the Black Lagoon there.
That'd be a fun ride.
I know, right?
Yeah. I mean, all that stuff is perfect for theme parks.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
be like Halloween all year round.
Yeah, it's awesome. Fucking Bolo.
Good Lord.
People are going to go.
I was going to say, these headphones, they're picking. I mean, we could hear every gargle, every
yeah.
People are going to go from being like, I can't hear Bolo, to being like, I would like to go back to not being able to hear Bolo.
I can't unhear Bolo.
Yeah. And now back to guzzling with Bolo.
I'm going to get a lunk alarm like that at Planet Fitness. Every time you take a big chug of your gallon of water.
You want to hear whey protein being chugged for 15 minutes? We've got the guy for you.
Oh, Bolo. Oh, and it was also for Borderlands. Borderlands flopped with a $9 million opening weekend versus $120 million budget. And it was announced today that it will be streaming on the 30th of this month.
Are you kidding?
Nope.
Holy crap. Next week.
That's Fall Guy hit streaming.
We're in a really weird, precarious time now because, like, even when films used to underperform, you could at least keep them in theaters for a little while and get the most you cut out. Now it's just like they're cutting bait. There's like so much shit coming out to like get it out. We need the space on the screens.
Well, we talked about it. Look, it might have been when we talked about the Fall Guy, where it's like you also would leave a movie in the theater, and maybe 3 or 4 weeks after it came out, it would pick up some steam and make a little bit of money. And now,
if it got good word of mouth, it would pick up.
Yeah, and now it's like if it doesn't make money opening weekend, it's just dead. So,
how did Alien do?
It did really well.
Like over 50 million, right? Like,
yeah. Did you see it, Dutch?
Nope. I was supposed to. I was gonna go, and then Saturday morning the weather was shit, and I was just like,
"Yeah, I really want to see it." I've heard
I am gonna get to see it this week, though, for sure. I do want to see it in the theater. I've heard really it's great. I've heard it sucks, and I've heard a little bit in between.
Quinn, you want to go see it? Bolo, you want to go see it before the next episode? We can all go see it before the next episode.
Yeah, I'll see it.
Speaking of flops, Fly Me to the Moon, which, whatever, apparently flopped so hard that Apple, who produced it, is now releasing, that movie Wolves that we were talking about with Brad Pitt and Clooney? Yeah. So Fly Me to the Moon flopped so hard that Apple is now pulling Wolves to it's only getting a 7-day theatrical run before it hits streaming.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
Fly Me to the Moon. That was the Scarlett Johansson.
Movie where they're filming the fake moon landing in case the real moon landing fails.
Right.
With Channing Tatum and her. Yeah. So
I'm very sad about the state of movies.
Did that come out in theaters, or was that just on Apple?
I guess it was a limited theatrical release as well. I guess because I know it's streaming already. I've seen streaming ads for it. And I thought that was fun.
I thought it was on streaming a while ago. I'll tell you, I forgot completely about it. I feel like this is like it's been out for a long time.
Yeah. Well, the budget was $100 million, and it's a rom-com. So, like, I don't know. That seems a bit ridiculous. Wolverine and Deadpool defeat Jesus. They are. It's now the highest grossing R-rated movie, which defeats The Passion of the Christ. So that's good news. That's good movie news, right?
Not according to Brian Cox. He was
he was upset,
lamenting the death. I'm like, dude, you played William Stryker in an X-Men movie.
Yeah.
What the hell? Like, why are you talking trash on it?
Well, he's also doing the McDonald's commercials. I don't know if he's the arbiter of what's cool.
He seems like a grumpy old man.
I understand people who get upset about like the mid-budget to lower budget, like kind of art housey, almost independent style film. I think there's got to be room for that somewhere. But like, I just get so like bored with whenever anybody's like just talking trash on superhero films and stuff, because then when they underperform, oh, well, you see here superhero fatigue. Nobody wants to see these things. Then Deadpool and Wolverine comes which one is it?
Yeah.
Which freaking one is it? Like if a movie's good, entertaining, people are going to go see it. I don't know. I
think there's a lot more than also if a movie is good and entertaining, people are going to go see it. A lot more now. Because there's a lot of other things at play. You know what I mean? And part of it's the cost. Part of it's the fact that if it doesn't do good, you're going to be able to watch it on streaming in 3 weeks anyway. Part of it is the 25 minutes of ads before the movie. There's a million things.
I'll be honest with you. For me, it's just the behavior of people in the theater. It's my number one turn on. And dude, I saw an insane fucking tweet today, dude. And it might have been just like a rage baiting tweet, but I think Frank Conniff actually reposted it. Some dude was like, if I'm paying to go into this space, I can go on my phone if I want. I'm just like, I want to just slap people like that so bad. Is this really how shitty we've become about this?
You have to have, you just have to have respect. I get that you paid for your seat, but I also paid for mine so I could sit and watch a movie, and not listen to you text or play fucking Tetris or whatever the fuck you're doing.
I just can't wrap my head around wanting to go to a theater and just sit on your goddamn phone. You're paying the price that it costs. Maybe if you're lucky, you got a matinee for like $12, but on average, you're paying $15 to $20 per ticket. And I can't get it, but that's what's that's what keeps me from going to the movies a lot of times. Or I'm really picky. If I can't get to a matinee, then I just won't go. And even that, sometimes it's a crapshoot. You'll go to what you think is a movie that parents aren't going to take their kids to at 12:30 in the afternoon, and then in rolls a freaking family, and there you go.
Yeah.
It's why are you all here to see Alien Romulus?
If you can't afford a babysitter, just don't go to the movies.
I agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
Cost is a big thing for me. I'll pay whatever to see a movie I know I'm going to enjoy. Like Deadpool and Wolverine, the ticket prices didn't really matter to me, but I'll think twice about seeing something marginal that may be really great. But I don't know. Doesn't look like something I'm super excited for. So do I want to spend a night off and that money to go watch a mediocre movie that'll probably be indistinguishable from anything on streaming, the million other things on streaming. So
whose taste you trust?
Yeah, that's the thing. So the critics or the Rotten Tomatoes or whatever it is, it's a whole thing. But I love going to the movies. As a kid, I would go to the movies twice a week. You know what I mean? I would see every movie that came out. Every new movie that came out, I would see.
Yeah, I like going to the movies, but I also like, I have a 103-inch screen in my basement, and I have and I have a 70-inch screen in my living room, and my bathroom's right there, and
that's and it is fun. It is fun to watch something in the comfort of your own home, but it's I still personally live for the theater experience. I love our Dolby Cinema that we have down in Center Valley at the AMC with the Atmos sound system. It's that's still to me what it's all about. And I typically go to that one too because it's so damn loud that when you have rude asses who don't shut the hell up, typically they're kind of drowned out. You'll pick the loudest theater, but I don't want that to go away. I don't ever want that to go away. And if it does, what is that? What's the future going to look like? Because where is the real money in streaming? I think the companies are starting to figure it out that it wasn't sustainable.
No, it's not, unless they're going to make movies like what they did with Black Widow or whatever, or Godzilla X Kong during COVID, where you pay $25 for the first 3 weeks it's out or something if you want to watch it.
But there's too much content. People are patient.
There's way
I can fill my time for 3 weeks until it comes out for free or the price.
Unless it's something that I absolutely need to see and don't want to be spoiled.
Right.
Then I'm going to probably wait. There's very little at this point that is going to get me.
Yeah. Really all that leaves you is with the Marvel movies and for the Godzilla for you guys. You know what I mean? No. There's not a lot of other franchises out there that you have to run up. Oh, And I was the one that mentioned it. Imagine that.
Shit, we broke the counter, didn't we?
Yeah.
No, actually, you said it first.
I did.
You brought up It versus Kong.
Oh, I did. Damn it.
Yeah. That's on you, pal.
That's 2 for this episode. Then.
I ain't even said the S word yet, but I was gonna say James Gunn's Superman is going to be a real litmus test for Superman films or for superhero films next year to see, because I trust that he's going to make a good quality movie. We're just going to see if audiences are going to trust in that and figure it out. But no, to your point, Quinn, what you were just saying is like, no, there's plenty, like my favorite types of movies, I love superhero films and genre films, but I mean, I like discovering like the smaller sort of mid-budget film, and the mid-budget film is what's going away. Like look at like 10 years ago when we had films like The Wrestler, The Fighter, freaking Spotlight, and shit, you know what I mean? Like movies like that. It just seems like even just in the last 10 years, studios are taking less and less risk on them. And I don't know, maybe I honestly think that the pandemic and then the whole let's throw everything on streaming, that might have caused longer term damage than we even initially thought. I don't want to believe that that's true, but it's rearing its ugly freaking head. The
only thing that I think you still see like mid-budget stuff is like horror movie stuff.
Yeah,
that's
horror seems like it's horror just seems like it's a Teflon genre.
It's like bulletproof. Like it always.
But it was also always mid-budget or low budget.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Budget. Yeah, like
There's not a ton of big budget horror.
Yeah, you don't need $150 million horror movie. So so we'll get into some Marvel stuff, I guess, because D23 was last week. So I do have some D23 stuff, which is the Disney. I guess like their version of Comic Con or some kind of,
It's like a showcase, right? For what's coming out.
But before that event, I saw the Avengers. The original Avengers was finally knocked out of the top 10 highest grosses after 12 years by Inside Out 2. And then I just saw this article literally like an hour before we jumped online, which is Victor Von Doom. Well, Robert Downey Jr. is playing Victor Von Doom.
I think I saw the headline.
It was in the Hollywood Reporter.
I don't love that.
He's playing Victor Von Doom. It says, he basically, like, the interview is he was spending a lot of time talking to Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige made a comment about, we could bring you back. And he's like, as what? And then I guess at another conversation, he said, well, have you thought about Victor Von Doom? And I guess Downey looked into the character and was like, yeah, I would be interested in doing that. So I don't know. Like I was reading about it on Reddit, and then there's a comment on the thread from a user, Obi-Wan Kabogi, that I do agree with, which says Doom is such an iconic character. I would have loved to see an actor try to make it theirs. I'm sure RDJ will do great because he's an incredible actor, but he's always going to be Tony Stark first, and there's no replacing that. Someone else should have gotten the chance to make Victor Von Doom theirs the way he did with Tony. The way that Evans did with Cap, the way Hiddleston did with Loki, the way Reynolds did with Deadpool, and so on. And like, I kind of agree with that. Like,
I don't kind of agree with it. I wholly agree with it. And one of the other things that messes me up about it is the Robert Downey Jr.'s appeal does not match Dr. Doom's appeal. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? Like, it's like they don't fit. And I don't want to see, he's very, he's a good actor, and he's very like somber in Oppenheimer. And I don't know what he is going to uniquely bring to Victor Von Doom that's going to make him a memorable character, and not just Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, I know. And then this other rumor that I've read in a few different places is that all the movies that are set between Avengers 5 and Avengers 6 that are not prequel movies are going to be set on Battle World. and I don't know what that really means. So
that's from that's from the most recent Secret Wars. And I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of out of it too. But from what I know, just from peripherally, is that multiverses are colliding into one essentially one world. That Doom rules.
Didn't they hint that that's what in Deadpool and Wolverine? Weren't they hinting that the timelines were all
converging?
And in Loki, wasn't in Loki season 2 or something like that? Weren't they all sort of like converging into one?
I think so, yeah. Or they were all. I forget. That was so convoluted at the end. But either they were all going away and he forged them into one, or they were all coming together into one. I forget.
Yeah. And then one last bit of somber news. Game Informer magazine has already shut down after 33 years. I used to love Game Informer.
I had no idea they were even still around.
I know. I'm surprised they were around.
I remember that from back in the day.
Yeah, I loved that magazine. So that's a bummer. But
that's where I got my Mortal Kombat cheat codes from.
Yeah, that's. I mean, the internet has just killed all that kind of like pop culture, video game magazines, or like really anything now.
Dude, for me, when Wizard magazine went under, that's when that's when I was like, yeah, times are really changing, man.
I mean, there's no use for it really anymore, which sucks because I did like having a magazine and reading a magazine, but there's really no place for it now when you can just get everything you need, on your phone or on your tablet.
Right. That's like the strange thing about like people who I know a lot of people who read digital comics, and I'm like, I can't get it because I love getting the comic book. You open it up, you can smell the fresh pages, the artwork. It's like, it's so weird for me to think of like scrolling on a tablet, reading a comic book.
Yeah, I still not embraced
it. I still have somewhere a collected edition of Twisted Toy Fair Theater.
I got 3 of them right over there on the shelf.
Yeah, those are great. I've not embraced the comic book app. I was actually going to ask Quinn. I was thinking about it this past week. Like, what app would you recommend for? Or can you just get one app, or do I need a Marvel app and a DC app? Or is there just?
Tell you what, they used to be free, and I haven't used one in years. And I can tell you both of the ones I had on my phone, I had a DC app and a Marvel app, and I liked the. I don't buy comics too much anymore, but I liked the digital format because when you touch the panel, there you go, Dutch. Dutch is showing me the Twisted Toy Fair Theater collection.
I just went over there and I'm holding these things up for like 3 days before you actually see them.
But when you touch the panels of them, they enlarge and they kind of move with the action a little bit. So it's they can be pretty dynamic and cool. But the apps kind of went away in favor of like a subscription service, whereas before it's almost like the transition from iTunes to like Apple Music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They did the same thing with comics. Both of the apps that I have, through no action of my own, kind of just went inert. Like if you click on them, they don't work anymore. They direct you to the Marvel subscription service.
Yeah, I had bought a bunch of the IDW. Again, Dutch is showing us pictures from his Twisted Toy Fair, which is good for a podcast.
Twisted Toy Fair, if you don't know, is just what would you say? Like the old Mego dolls?
Oh, yeah, it's like action figures.
It's basically it was basically inspiration for Robot Chicken.
Yes,
but yeah, it was all Mego dolls. Mostly, well, they started with they would use DC and Marvel, and then I guess DC sent them a cease and desist, so they stopped using DC Megos, and it was all Marvel. But it's hard for me to describe like how good we had it with that because it was so funny and cleverly written. Every superhero was like an exaggeration of how they really are. Like Iron Man was always drunk. The Hulk is just killing people by accident because he's
Spider-Man was just a dick.
A dick. I was going to say a total irreverent douchebag.
I just remember one of the panels. Iron Man was drunk and he leans forward and just piss comes out of his helmet.
I remember
that. Like pours out of his eyeballs.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It was so funny.
Quinn had those in his bathroom, so anytime we would go down there and you have to use the bathroom, I would read that.
Yeah. But
and like all the parts where like Professor X would commonly just get up and walk or run away when things would get like, and people would be like, what the F?
Yeah. They had all the Star Trek guys. They used the little Smurf figurines sometimes. They had everything.
Yeah, they were funny.
He's counting cards and the freaking watcher's like not even paying attention to him on the security. That's the best.
Those are good stuff.
All right. Let's do some trailers. But before we do the trailers, I wanted to do I was going to do a new segment called Huge If True, and I was going to have a voice that was like huge if true, but I don't have it. So pretend I had it. It would have been funny. But it's called Huge If True, and it's where I find one of the most idiotic things I can possibly find on the internet, and I read it. And here's the first edition of Huge If True from the Reddit group R Snyder Cut. So you know it's going to be good. My theory on why James Gunn really fired Henry Cavill. It all goes back to Black Adam, the final appearance of Cavill's Superman. Do you guys remember who else was in the movie? Amanda Waller's agent, Amelia Harcourt, played by Jennifer Holland, James Gunn's wife. So that makes it possible that Henry and Jennifer may have met each other at some point. What if that made Gunn jealous? The idea that he could lose his dear wife to a younger and more handsome guy. Even if that wasn't true, he seems like one of those paranoid husbands. Coincidentally, weeks after Black Adam bombed, he decided to fire Henry Cavill, the face of the DCEU, and officially announce his stupid reboot. Was that all a coincidence? I'm not assuming anything. I think you are. This is just speculation. Huge if true.
You should look up that username on like the Flat Earth Society or something like that. See if there's some cross pollination. That's really
like that's gotta be a troll. That can't, I've heard some crazy shit come from that. A lot of people, but that is just.
I think that's too specific to be a troll. I think that's somebody that's putting way too much thought into this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yep. That is a guy sitting in his underwear, vigorously hating on James Gunn for firing his hero, Henry Cavill.
He never fired Henry Cavill. He never hired him.
Maybe if Henry Cavill wanted to keep being Superman, maybe Henry Cavill shouldn't have hit on that man's wife.
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
That's all I got to say about that. All right? Because,
you hear that, Bolo? Your hero's a philanderer.
That's his boss. He hit on his boss's wife. The audacity to hit on your boss's wife.
That's true.
I'm sad Henry Cavill never got his proper Superman sequel / movie, but it's
agreed. It's painful.
sucked, but it was like that whole. If anybody who knows even anything remotely what the hell they're talking about knows how that whole like The Rock even said like he went over everybody's head, and Zaslav, who already signed James Gunn to write a new Superman movie that he knew was going to be a reboot, just said to The Rock, "Yeah, go ahead."
Well, I have a feeling that R. Snyder Cut is going to be a font of Huge If True snippets going forward.
Bolo, what was Black Adam on the Van Helsing scale? Did we ever figure that out?
We never talked about that. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed Black Adam.
I know you did.
Yeah, but as far as a high rating goes, no. it's not.
Bolo is the king of this movie was awful. I loved it.
But I loved it.
Yeah.
Which is why we have the Van Helsing rating system.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so don't get me wrong. Out of 10 Van Helsing's, Black Adam would probably get a 3.
See,
that's.
Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed Black Adam.
That is huge.
It's a 3 out of 10.
Yeah, I like those movies. You know what I mean? I like what they try to attempt.
Black Adam was one of those things that like it didn't disappoint me because I knew exactly what it was going to be going into it. It's a movie starring The Rock. You know what you're getting. You know what you're getting out of that.
Yeah.
Rock's an action guy. You're getting lots of action. Obviously the Superman cameo leaked, so I wanted to see that in the theater, and it was kind of nice that the last time we got to see Henry Cavill as Superman, he was wearing the red, blue, and yellow again, and his face wasn't fucked up. But I'm a big fan of the Justice Society, so I was like all about like Dr. Fate's like one of my favorite characters, so I was like, yeah, I can't wait to see Pierce Brosnan. They fucking kill him off, but spoiler,
he was the best. He was the best part of that movie.
But you know what? Here, I'll tell you what pissed me off the most about Black Adam is like he is Shazam's arch nemesis. There was not one effing mention of shit. Like they didn't even do anything, and supposedly The Rock didn't want it. Maybe that's true. I don't know why you wouldn't want that, but I mean that's what they're saying. But like
Shazam was a kids movie. That's why he didn't want it. He wanted to be a badass.
Yeah.
One of the lead characters in Black Adam is a kid. These movies are fundamentally kids movies, regardless of how serious they take themselves. But like, you didn't even have one guy look at the insignia on his chest and be like, "The other guy in Philadelphia has the same fucking thing. Something's weird here. They both got the same exact like lightning bolt."
Yeah.
I wonder if you put anybody else in that role, any serious actor in the Black Adam role, if it works better. Probably. You know what I mean? Well, if you put Oscar Isaac in there, or somebody Egyptian, is he Egyptian? I don't even know Black Adam.
Supposed to be Egyptian, right?
He's supposed to be Egyptian.
I believe so. Yes.
If he doesn't have a California accent, if he doesn't speak in 21st century slang, maybe that movie works. I don't know.
Get your hand off my penis!
I hated it.
This is the bloke who got me on the penis before.
Let's move on.
I don't think you put anybody else in that role and it works. I mean, it was
what about you?
Black. No.
Bolo Adam? Is that what we're gonna?
They would just call it Adam, right?
Yeah,
it would just be Adam at that point.
Yeah, I mean, the visual of The Rock in the suit, I don't think anybody else pulls that off.
Nobody looks like the damn Rock.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a freak.
He's like the only dude that doesn't need padding.
Yeah. Agreed.
All natural, all natty.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All natty. He just works out really hard.
But I don't know. Does he need to be super huge? Does the character need to be super huge?
No, the character does not. But don't get me wrong. I mean, when you look at some of the animations, how these characters have been drawn, The Rock fits. Even the animation where you have the crossover with Shazam, or Shazam, Black Adam, and Superman. Every visual of those characters are huge. You know what I mean, in terms of bodybuilder aesthetics. You know what I mean?
I guess.
Yeah, let's do trailers.
And moving on.
Coming soon to a theater near you.
Did everybody see the Last of Us 2 teaser trailer?
I did not.
I did not watch it. I want to go in and just.
Yeah, I didn't want to watch it.
Yeah. It was a teaser, so it didn't show really anything. Although it looks like it's going to be pretty faithful to the game.
When does that come out?
Winter next year, I think.
Yeah, all right.
So that would be about what, 2-3 years already after 2 years.
2, right? Not even really. When did it come out? It wasn't terribly long. And then there's another.
No, it was early 2023, right? I think so.
Yeah, so it'd be about 2 years. Yeah,
that series was so good. Oh, it was so good.
Yeah. If you did not play the second game, do not allow yourself to be spoiled by what's going to happen in season 2. It's phenomenal.
See, that was my good fortune. I'm not a video gamer, so I knew the bare minimum. So for me, it was just like a series that I knew very little about.
What impressed me about that show was that people like you and like my wife and my sister and a bunch of other people that didn't play the game and wouldn't play a game, like my wife and sister certainly wouldn't play.
I don't think I wouldn't. It's just not really my thing.
My parents watched it and liked it.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're not going to play The Last of Us,
Right.
But is that now? Obviously, when you're playing it as a video game, it's 25 hours of a game because there's way more action stuff in it. But the overall story is like beat for beat and almost word for word, and sometimes shot for shot. The video game.
It is stunning.
Yeah. So like, and it the end. Was the most important part to me when he lies to her.
Yeah.
Spoilers for the if you haven't seen it, where she says, was that true that there was no cure? And he says, yeah. And then it just cut. That was the thing I really wanted him to get right more than anything else.
I was going to say that's going to come back around. That you have to imagine when she finds out.
You have to keep it in mind too, though. Before there was a sequel, though, that was the most important part of the game to me. Was like, because did he do what was right, or was he wrong to do what he did? Like to me, I would have done what he did, but.
Yeah, he wasn't. She's essentially his daughter now. He wasn't going to let that. He wasn't letting that happen.
Yeah, but I was just so glad they got that part right. The part with the giraffes in the game is just such a slow part, but but it's an important part of the game, and the fact that they got all that stuff right. If they do the second part as well as they and follow as closely, like I don't know, I can rewatch season 1. I don't know that if they follow the game exact that I'll be able to rewatch anything after that, because I don't think I'll ever play the game again. It's really good. It's very, very, very dark and very heavy. It's not fun. It's good.
I think that's why I didn't watch the trailer, and I've never played the game. But you can kind of assume what's going to happen, and you know what I mean, in the second one.
Yeah, it's really good. I don't know, Bolo, you played it without spoiling it, obviously, but I mean, would you play it again? I could not. I don't think I could not sit down and be like, I'm going to play this again. I loved the game as I was playing it, but there were also parts of the game where it was making me do things where I was like, I don't want to fucking do this. I do not want to do this at all.
Yeah.
So.
For me, I may revisit both games later. You know what I mean? I have a tendency to pick games up, years later. It's that type of thing. It's not something that I'll immediately revisit, because for me, watching or not only playing the game and then watching the series, I had those emotional beats twice. You know what I mean?
It was perfect.
Yeah, exactly. I experienced those things from the video game medium, and then also from the, I guess you would call it, television or theatrical, vision of the creators. And I thought it was fantastic. It's really absolutely awesome. But again, as far as playing the games again, it's not something I see it when I fire up my PlayStation 5. I see Last of Us up in our in my list, and I'm like, I'll end up playing Spider-Man. I can't touch it again. It's
you don't need that
tough.
Heaviness in your life.
No, it's just like you said when you watch The Dark Knight. It's like an assault on your senses.
Yeah,
it's way more than that. I mean,
I can watch Dark Knight any time.
I've never gotten choked up playing a video game before, and there were 3 or 4 different spots in that game where I was like, Jesus Christ, dude! I need to stop for the night. So.
Yeah, I felt that way in the opening sequence of that game. You know what I mean?
I've gone back and rewatched cutscenes from the second game, and I still am like, fuck, man, it's good. I mean, some of it's really good, but it's just goddamn. Speaking of video games, then we got a trailer for Kong Survival Instinct.
Oh my god!
It's a video game set in the MonsterVerse that has some of the worst voice acting I've ever heard in a video game trailer. Gee, I don't know if that's AI voice doing the characters or what, but holy shit, that is terrible.
It did not look good.
I did not watch that.
Like that's
just that one clip of the fighting where he hits the guy with a hammer. I don't know who he's hitting, but he hits the guy with a hammer. It looks all clunky.
It looks like it looks like a game I used to play on the Xbox 360 arcade called Shadow Complex. But I mean, that game came out in like 2009. So that's what this looks like. The gameplay looks really similar to that. And if it's like a $20 game, then I might actually get it because I enjoy a side-scrolling old school style game like that. But that is not a $70 game.
No, sir.
By any stretch of the imagination.
Oh my god.
Nope.
And then we got a second trailer for the Hellboy, the Crooked Man, which I think looks pretty goddamn good.
I think it looks good too. I mean, I hear people sitting on it. I want to see it.
I'll tell you what, it's looking better than I initially felt about it. Like I'm actually getting kind of interested in it.
It's got a real Evil Dead feel to it, and I'm gonna see the shit out of it.
Yeah, it's got a cool like horror movie vibe, almost like no big giant like stakes to it maybe, but it has the
potential to be like a sleeper hit, like you know what I mean? Like,
I think it looks cool.
It's made for a budget, but it's looking
I think it looks cool. That I may actually go see in the theater, because I think that one actually does look cool.
Yeah.
And then the other one that I thought looked really cool that I had no idea about was it's called Saturday Night, which is which is about the first episode of Saturday Night Live and the making of the first episode of that. And that trailer looks really cool, and I didn't realize that the movie takes place in real time. So
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, so it's like really leading up to like it's like the 90 minutes right before they went live on air.
That makes it even more fun.
Wasn't there some hubbub about like the fact that there were inaccuracies with it that people were complaining about, or is that all just like normal?
I mean, people complaining it doesn't sound like something I believe happening.
The guy playing Chevy Chase made me laugh like 2 or 3 times in the preview. So
when he falls down and he's like, he falls down and he goes, "Oh, sorry, I just tripped on my dick" or something like that.
Yeah, tripped over my penis.
Tripped over my penis. Yeah.
I can't believe you weren't ready with the soundbite on that reference.
I know.
Get your hand off my penis! This is the man who got me on the penis before.
Oh dear God!
But the guys are trying to announce Dan Aykroyd, and he's like, "And Dan, how the fuck do you say this?"
Yeah. Speaking of penises,
are you waiting to receive my limp penis?
So the Olympics just ended.
Oh wow!
So you're a 22-year-old guy in the prime of your sexual peak, the prime of your athletic career. Would you rather win the gold medal as being the best in your particular sport, or lose the gold medal because your giant penis got in the way? Which would you rather have happened to you on a world stage? Because
if you are going to fail, that is the way to fail.
That's the way to fail.
Because the high jumper failed his jump because he knocked
the pole vaulter.
Yes, the pole vaulter failed his jump because he knocked the bar over with his penis.
Yeah.
And honestly, if I was a young kid, in the prime of my life, I don't know which one I'd. Either way, you have a good bar story.
Yeah.
He walked away with a gold medal either way that day. So.
Yeah, right. Because either way, you're like, hey, you may recognize me as the guy who won the gold medal in the Olympics last year, or you may recognize me as the guy who would have won the gold medal last year if it wasn't for my big.
Having a good night on the town in Paris.
Yeah.
20 years from now, no one's going to be looking up on YouTube him winning the gold medal. You know what I mean? But that one's going to live forever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Then we got a trailer for Agatha, which comes out next month, right? At the end of next month.
Oh, really? That soon?
Yeah, I want to say it's like September 25th or something like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I don't know how much. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to watch it, but I don't know. I'm not super interested in it. It doesn't look like. I mean, it's a plus and a minus. It doesn't look like it has any stakes with anything Marvel related, which is maybe good.
I was going to say that might actually be
that might be good.
If it could just be like a fun, self-contained thing.
Yeah, like Werewolf by Night was, and I guess kind of like Moon Knight was, because I don't think Moon Knight will ever tie in.
Yeah, I think they're doing a season 2 of Moon Knight, if I'm not mistaken. But I like the character of Agatha because in the MCU because I like there being a kind of a counterpoint or a rival to Wanda, somebody with the same kind of skill set and power. So I hope they advance that character, and it's not just I hope they don't just kind of make her that small little side character that she was.
Yeah, I like her too. She's great.
Catherine Hahn is fantastic.
Yeah,
she's great in everything she's in.
Yeah.
And then the last trailer of note that I saw was Kraven When the Man Comes Around.
Oh yeah.
Because boy, did they play the shit out of When the Man Comes Around during that trailer. Boy, that looks like that looks like a movie that's coming out.
That does look like a movie that's going to be out there.
I hate how cynical I feel in my soul about the Sony Spider-Man movies that are not aside from the Spider-Verse, the end of the Spider-Verse movies, because those are how are we doing it so good with these, and then we got these over here? And did I hear correctly? Is that BS that when Sony uses a Spider-Man villain that
they supposedly locks him in for a few more years? I've heard it.
The MCU from using him?
From using him. Yeah, I don't know if that's true. I've heard that though. But it's funny that you bring that up because breaking news. I just saw this. I just saw this right before we went on. Before we jumped on here, is that they are letting the people who did Into the Spider-Verse walk. They're not renewing their contracts before they do the third movie. So, way to go, Sony! Way to go! You don't
wait. You mean Lord and Miller? Meaning they're finishing the movie, right?
I don't know. I read it said are not renewing their contracts, and people were like, "Well, I hope they get to finish their trilogy." So
I was gonna say I thought they were well into the production on the third.
But do they need Into the Spider-Verse when they have Madam Web and Kraven and Morbius?
And I mean, then you have the Venom movies, which are actually doing semi-okay. Which I mean,
but they're not good.
I would probably agree. But Tom Hardy is a driving force as to why I think people are going to see those. I think he carries those movies pretty well.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on with this shit.
I already forgot about Madam Web. I already forgot that was a thing until you mentioned it.
I
forgot that my mom was studying spiders in the Amazon when she was murdered.
Oh man!
And then we have D23. Go ahead, Chris.
Bolo, hang on, Bolo. You saw Madam Web, right? What was the?
Oh God, did you really?
I had a day off work. I called out sick, and I was like,
"That's what you did."
Watch this. I watched it.
Wait, you had a day off, or you called out sick? Those are two different things.
No. I called out, and then I realized it was on Netflix, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to sit here and watch this.
He's like, Phil Donahue's dead. What else is on?
It is terrible. It
looks
terrible.
Really bad.
It's bad.
But I did see Sydney Sweeney's in that, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I saw that she may be in line to play the Black Cat. Yeah, in the MCU.
Yeah, I saw that rumor.
In Spider-Man 4.
No one knows.
I mean, Tom Holland is eating well. If that's the case, Jesus. God damn, Tom Holland.
Yeah.
All right, so D23 just happened. And so did you guys, I think I sent in the group chat the leaked Fantastic Four trailer.
Yes.
Yeah. What did you think of that? It didn't really show a ton. And it was also
I like the whole vibe. I like the whole vibe of what they're doing. The 60s.
It's so different. You needed to have something completely visually, aesthetically different that's going to set it apart from the other ones. And I think I'm I'm all about it. I mean, the
like
Fantastic Four are my favorite Marvel team, so I'm like, come on, let's do it finally.
It's very much like 1960s Disney's vision of the future, like Epcot Center.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you used to go to Epcot Center.
Yeah, that's that, and I dig that. That was cool.
It's kind of like Howard Stark's vision that you saw in Iron Man 2 a little bit.
Almost. Yeah. It's, so yeah, I'm on board. I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, I think it looks cool. What do you think of the costumes? I noticed it seemed like there was a mixed reaction to there was a shot of Johnny Storm in his Fantastic Four costume, and I mean it does kind of look like he's wearing pajamas, but
I don't care.
I think it fits perfectly. I think it fits perfect.
As I say, we haven't seen enough to really judge it.
Exactly. That's
if it looks like they're wearing Fantastic Four pajamas, I'm fine with it because that's what they should look like. It's supposed to have that look, and
Pedro Pascal's just like, I'm not shaving my mustache.
I was just gonna say my one quibble is I thought they were gonna read up Pedro Pascal a little bit, and they did not. He's just Pedro Pascal.
Did he have the?
He had a little gray. He had a touch of the gray, but I was like, oh, it's just Pedro Pascal. Getting older.
I'm wondering about because we saw that little glimpse of Galactus at the end, which was cool.
That
but
was
it's like
awesome.
This dude's supposed to be not the size of Godzilla, but the size of like the solar system.
Oh, you got to hit the thing, Bri.
I need to get a Godzilla roar for when we do that.
Yeah,
that's not Godzilla's roar, man.
I know.
Just do that from now on.
Every time Godzilla gets mentioned.
So I say when we eventually get the video version of this, we'll have the counter just switch back to 0.
It'll go like this, and Godzilla's head will pop up.
Galactus in the comics is like he's whatever size that particular artist wants to make him.
Yeah, no, I've seen him be like city size before.
Yeah,
I don't really care.
There's that one famous cover where they're all fighting him, and like Mr. Fantastic's like wrapped around his arm, like you know what I mean?
Yeah. I say my Galactus kind of towers over people over there. So
which one do you have? Do you have the?
I actually have the original Marvel Legends one.
There was one that came out like a year and a half ago.
Oh, the HasLab one.
The HasLab one. That was amazing.
No, this one. Hang on, give me a
Quinn.
second.
I don't know how you don't collect like Black Series action figures. They're so fucking awesome.
If I was like what?
The Black Series figures. They're so fucking awesome.
Yeah, they're pretty awesome.
It was this one. This
okay. No, the HasLab one, that's like the size of his leg. The HasLab one is huge, man. That thing
is like the size of the HasLab one's like a boot almost.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, the HasLab one is awesome. It's so cool.
This is the original Build-A-Figure. I think this was I'm not sure. Wait, it was either this or the Sentinel was the first Marvel Legends like Build-A-Figure back in like 04-ish, 05-ish, back when Marvel Legends cost like $688 each at Walmart. And
that
now
is
they're like $35.
They're so expensive. Yeah, that would be why I wouldn't collect them if I were you, Quinn.
Yeah, I can't go down that rabbit hole, man. I know enough about myself to know that if I
even if you just
started, I would be in the poorhouse.
Think of your display you could make. Oh, it'd be so cool.
Impress everybody. Come see
like
my
city background. You think that's funny?
The first comment anybody would say, looking at it, is like, "How much did you spend on it?"
I don't know. You think?
A lot.
I wouldn't think that, Quinn. And then we got the Thunderbolts trailer. Did you guys see that? I thought that was fucking cool.
Yeah, I liked it too. That's also getting trashed online, but I thought it was cool. I don't know.
I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Because people are perpetually miserable, and there's no middle ground. Right now, it's so fashionable to hate Marvel. Yeah. Aside from like Deadpool and Wolverine, that it's getting insufferable. It's like, come on.
I agree.
I
thought it looked cool.
I love Florence Pugh as Yelena. I think she's fantastic.
Oh, she's awesome.
She's great in Black Widow. She's the best part of Black Widow. She's great in the Hawkeye series. And so I'm looking forward to another movie centering on her. I'm not sure where Bucky fits into that, but
Yeah, the only thing I didn't like about the trailer was that there was no Kate Bishop, because I love her and Kate Bishop together.
Yeah.
So
they were great.
Yeah.
I love that she was calling her Kate Bishop through the whole.
Yeah, over and over. Yeah. So that looks really cool. And we got an actual nice look at Red Hulk. And he looks cool. He looks suitably red and hulky. Yeah.
Yeah, I never loved that character.
Yeah. What is he? Just a more angry Hulk? I mean, basically.
Yeah, I mean,
like a stronger.
Yeah, he pretty much whips the Hulk's ass. He whips Thor's
he's like
ass.
a stronger, bigger Hulk, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know how non-powered Captain America is gonna beat him up, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that Anthony Mackie doesn't have the serum. You know what I mean?
I know. I mean, and they made such a big deal of him not having the super soldier serum in the show that I can't envision a way that he would take the super soldier serum without him looking like a giant hypocrite in the show.
Yeah. Right. Unless he gets it involuntarily somehow.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Or because adamantium somehow plays a role in the movie, that maybe his new suit has some gives him.
I thought his suit was vibranium, wasn't it?
It was vibranium, yeah. But I'm wondering, because it looks like at the end he might have a different suit, so maybe he gets an adamantium suit that makes him be able to stand up to the Red Hulk. I don't know. I mean, you don't want him to be too strong either.
No.
You know, like you don't want him to be on Thor's level of strength.
Yeah. I did see a funny clip with Anthony Mackie talking about how the D23 is supposed to be his big moment, and then RDJ came out, and he's like, "I'm gonna punch him in the face."
That's pretty funny. And then the other trailer was that Star Wars Skeleton Crew show, which is very odd. It looks like an 80s nostalgia Stranger Things show, but set in the Star Wars universe. Like it's like suburban kids in a suburban neighborhood, but it's in Star Wars and they're aliens, and then they go on an adventure like the Goonies.
I have not seen that trailer, but I did hear that it looks like the Goonies.
Yeah, and they meet a Jedi played by Jude Law. It's very, very odd.
Jude Law is a great choice to be a Jedi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has that look.
Yeah.
You know who would have made a great? You know who would have made a great Doom? Jude Law.
Well, he was already in the.
Yeah, he was already in Captain Marvel, but yeah, he would have been good.
He would have been bad.
Well, Robert Downey Jr. was already in.
Yeah, that's not a good argument. You're right.
You know what? He'd make a good Doom, Robert Downey Jr. Is there a Robert Downey the Third we could hire? And then we also got trailers or announcements for Toy Story 5, Moana 2, Avatar 3, Incredibles 3, and Frozen 3.
Did any of you guys see Avatar 2?
I saw Avatar 2, and it's visually fantastic. Story-wise, not so much.
I'm gonna drop something right now. I've never seen Avatar 1.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Avatar 1 fits Bolo's description exactly. It's visually amazing.
I was just going to say that. Like, I feel like if the way to see the original Avatar was like you had to see it in 3D at the time, or in re-release in 3D, because like it wasn't just like post-converted. Like James Cameron really changed the game with the way that he shot the movie. With depth of field in mind.
Yep.
So
agreed.
You know, it's cool. I mean, it wasn't a movie that I ever felt the need to like watch again. I enjoyed the visuals. I enjoyed the pushing the boundaries of the technology. The score was great. Rest in peace, James Horner. At some point, I'll probably watch the second one. I'm not like an Avatar hater or anything like that. It's just
the first Avatar is almost exactly a science fiction Dances with Wolves. It's like they steal the plot.
That's
almost exactly.
That was always the criticism, was it was Dances with Wolves in space.
That's what I've heard.
And
The Last Samurai is Dances with Wolves in Japan.
There you go.
Yep.
Oh, speaking of
I never thought of that, but that's true also.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, for sure. All right. So speaking of which, let's talk about stuff we've seen and stuff we're playing or reading or whatever.
And now, our feature presentation.
Last Samurai, Quinn, you're playing, on my suggestion, Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah. I just got it this past weekend, and I'm not too far into the game, but I am loving it. That is a great game.
It's fucking great,
awesome.
dude.
Yeah.
Did you play it, Bolo?
I'm playing it. I'm in the very early stages of the game as well.
It is fucking great.
Yeah. I mean, folks that listen know that how much we love Shogun and talked about that. This is like, being in that world.
Oh yeah.
It's beautiful too.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous game. Just right. We were talking, Brian and I were just talking how you don't even want to fast travel in the game.
No, I just ride my horse everywhere. Like, I don't care if it's like if it's like 35 kilometers away, I'm like, fuck it, I'm riding my horse.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's beautiful. Like, you go through fields of just nothing but flat white flowers, or
really neat mechanic where whatever direction that you need to go, like if you have a mission in a certain part of the thing, the wind is blowing in that direction.
Yeah, so you follow the wind. Yeah,
so you follow the wind, but there's all like the flower petals and everything for that are swirling all around you as you ride. It's awesome. The fighting is cool. It's brutal.
Yeah.
But you'll be coming up on a fortress that you have to assault, and a thunderstorm will roll in with like crazy lightning and rain. It's just really visceral. The cutscenes take their time. Like, I'm sure that can frustrate some gamers, but
not me. I enjoy that all the way through.
Yeah, if you're really looking for an experience, like a story and an experience, that's a great game. And like I said, I'm not too far into it, but yeah, so far really, really good. I don't play a lot of games, and I'm glad I bit the bullet and bought this one.
Yeah, it's great. And like I was saying, you'll get to a point where you'll have enough ghost abilities and that's basically like your stealth abilities.
Yeah.
Where you basically are like Samurai Batman, except you kill people instead of incapacitating them. But like, you'll get to a point where you'll come upon a group of enemies and you'll sneak up on them and take out like two of the biggest guys, and the other people will just start hauling ass away, like completely run away from you, or just fall over in panic. Dude, it's so good. And that's how I played it. I know, like at the beginning with your uncle, he's like, it's not honorable to sneak up on your, like, fuck that, dude. I am sneaking. And I mean, you get to a point where you have to play it that way. The game doesn't change, whether you play it with honor or,
they just want you to feel bad
they want you to think about it briefly, but it's so fun assassinating people from stealth. That game is just incredible. Like, I just downloaded the expansion, which is called Iki Island, I guess it's called. And I was thinking it would be like a couple of hours, and I looked it up, and it's like 19 extra hours of gameplay.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so I'm playing through that now. It's like a completely separate story with a completely different villain. So highly recommend that game. And speaking of Samurai Batman, has everyone seen Batman: The Caped Crusader?
Why, yes.
I'm not done with it, but I've watched a lot of episodes. Yeah.
Started it.
All right, I'm not done with it yet either. I think I'm on 5 or 6. I went from being like on the fence about it to I'm kind of digging it more now. I don't want to get super spoilery if you're not.
Oh, that's okay. I'm glad you said that, because I the start of it has just, for me, it's just been kind of like, all right. Like,
well, it's not what I thought it was going to be. You know what I mean? I thought it was going to be more like the animated series we all loved back then.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. It has kind of, it can be dark at times, but it has kind of a lighter sensibility. I was talking to somebody the other day, and I said, you know what it reminds me of a little bit is like the old George Reeves Superman show.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? In the just kind of the simplistic little setups with the bad guy. I like the bad guys in the episodes. I like the kind of the reimagined origins and characters so far. All the choices they made work.
Oh man, Oswaldo Cobblepot had some people really.
Oh my God, it's woke. It went woke.
Yeah, but
oh,
and that's fine if you had a deep connection to the Penguin and you know what I mean. And
it's imagine having a deep connection.
Yeah, exactly. But the way they play it, she's more like Ursula from The Little Mermaid. Where she's kind of like bombastic and I dig that. And I really liked the reimagining of Harley Quinn, where
I do too.
She's a Batman villain independent of the Joker. Like she has her own
motivations.
Like she fits right in with the Rogues Gallery because she has her own really messed up methods. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so
I liked what they did with her so far. I didn't like. There were things about the first episode. I thought it was odd. I was like, man, all right, they're just going right out of the box with changing the Penguin. I didn't bother me. I was like, whatever. I know it's going to bother some people.
And that's how I watch stuff now. I'm like, oh, that'll piss people off.
Black Commissioner Gordon. We can't have that.
Exactly.
Montoya is
in the movie too.
Montoya is a main part of this show. People aren't going to like that. But there are some things that are weird. Like he's kind of dickish to Alfred.
Yeah.
Like he calls him Pennyworth, which I think is weird. And
I think Alfred being fat was the change that bothered me.
Yeah. Alfred being a fat guy is weird.
Well, that's actually, I believe that's that's what Alfred originally was.
Maybe, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure the way it went was, so you know how there were like the Batman serials in the 1940s? It was the Robert Lowery played him in one film, but it was like it was one called Batman, one called Batman and Robin. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the depiction of Alfred in that movie, but prior to that in the comics, he was portly, and in those serials, he was like a fit, very trim kind of guy, and that's where they kind of settled on like the look of Alfred. I think it's from that.
All right.
Then he was Alan Napier.
Alfred was around before Alan Napier. You know that, right?
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to point that out to you.
But what about Aunt Harriet?
Aunt Harriet. Aunt Harriet was a comic book creation, I think.
Was she? Oh, I thought Aunt Harriet was a straight up Batman Adam West creation.
We'll put it this way, because again, if she wasn't from the comics around that time, she became part of the comics. But I'm pretty sure she was a comic book creation. I'm almost positive.
Has anybody brought her back into comics? I feel like they should do that. It's in some way or form.
I'm sure she had to have been referenced like over the years at some point.
Yeah. It's been 60 years, for God's sake.
Yeah. But yeah, Quinn, I'm with you. It's not what I expected, but I do like it. At first I didn't. I watched the first 3 and I was like, oh, I guess I'll get back to it. And then you guys were talking about it in the chat and I was like, let me watch some more of this. And so the last episode I watched was the one with the ghost guy.
Okay.
That was pretty cool. I think I haven't quite finished that one yet because Brandy came in and was like, "What are you watching?" And I was like, "That's this Batman show." And then I was like, "Of course, this is the most ridiculous possible episode for me."
Right, it's the Scooby-Doo episode
where he's fighting a ghost horseman, some strange reason. So I was like, "Let me get back to this at a different time." But it's pretty cool. Right.
There's one, at the risk of spoilers, there's one where they go to a carnival with a lot of kids, and kids start going missing. And
oh wow,
I'm sure it's purposeful, but all the kids have Robin names.
I heard. I haven't seen that episode, but I read about that. Yeah,
and I don't know why. Like it's like if they're going to, if that's where his Robins are going to come from, like because they're all orphans from like the same orphanage.
Yeah. So he has like a deep bench of Robins.
Yeah, exactly.
In case one of them gets killed, he has an.
It's like one of them is Dickie, the other one is Jason. And then there's Stephanie Brown. There's no Tim Drake.
No Tim? Was it?
No, that I noticed. I mean, maybe they threw one in, but I didn't see it. But then the last one is the girl from The Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah,
like, was it Cassie? Carrie?
Carrie.
Yeah. And it has no bearing on the episode itself. They're just the names of orphans.
Huh.
So,
into the future.
One other thing in that show, Brian, you probably noticed it. Harvey Dent is the slick DA, but apart from him being in a suit, the visual of him is comic accurate Peter Parker from the 70s. Like that's exactly what he looks like in the 60s and 70s.
Dickhead.
Yeah, he's an absolute ass.
What an asshole. Yeah. Which is another thing that kind of took me by surprise. I think my biggest complaint with the show, if anything, is I appreciate that they're going for that animation style from the Batman animated series that we love in the 90s, but it's animation and you can do whatever you want in animation and you can make the fights and things over the top in animation. And instead the fights are so not dynamic and they're so boring.
Correct.
I mean, dude, it's all drawn in that really static sort of old school, like the old school, 60s Fantastic Four cartoon or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, give me.
It's almost stop motion, like the way the fights are.
Give me some action fights because it's an animated, it's an animated thing. You can go as over the top as you want with the fights.
A lot of the appeal of the show for me is baked in because it's the best setting for a Batman cartoon. It's that 40s atmosphere. The cops of Gotham are corrupt. He's relatively new. You know what I mean? Like that's it's almost become a cliche now, but that is where the character works the best, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's like I said, that's all baked in, and he is a detective in it, which is great. I don't care for the voice acting all that much, at least his. It just sounds like somebody doing a Batman voice. You know what I mean, rather than having its own character.
Yeah.
But
I do like it.
But I'm enjoying it. Like it's something to have on to kill a half hour.
Yeah. And then
I was going to say to you guys, just as a really quick aside, so if you like that aesthetic, there was just a miniseries called The Batman: The First Night, and it's a comic book series, and it's the same, not a very similar aesthetic, but it's kind of really dark and gritty. It was written by Dan Jurgens, who's like one of my favorite Superman writers of all time from like the 1990s.
Sure.
So if you get a chance to pick that up, if you sort of like that, like the 40s style Batman, that's been a great series.
Yeah, that's my favorite. Like Quinn said, I think that's where he works best.
Like the year one aesthetic is kind of the best for that character, and they lean into that, and but we already love that about the show. I don't know that the show breaks any new ground. Does that make sense?
No, yeah, it definitely doesn't. But it's fine, and I enjoy it, and I'm definitely going to finish the season, and I hope there's another season afterwards. Because it's it is pretty good. Speaking of things that aren't going to have another season, I did just see The Acolyte will not have a second season.
Yeah, I just finished that today. I finished the last one today.
And I was waiting to see if you had finished it before we talked about it. I liked it. I thought it was fine. I really liked Manny Jacinto as Quimir or however you say his name, the bad guy in that.
Is that the villain? The villain is the standout portion of the
great. And the fights are the best lightsaber, the best Star Wars fights, I think, period.
I would agree with that.
Maybe since the Darth Maul fight in Phantom Menace.
I think they're better than that. You know what I mean?
They're great.
Yeah,
I still have yet to see the show.
That makes two of us.
It alternates between incredibly boring and okay, and then moments of greatness. You know,
so it averages out to be okay.
Exactly.
It averages out to be fine. It's fine, and honestly, I would have liked the second season because there's stuff there that I think is actually pretty interesting, and the fights are fucking great. I mean, great fights, dude. That scene where the Jedi Wookiee goes batshit. It's unbelievable, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Dutch, think about it. You have the raw strength of a Wookiee, but he's also using Jedi powers, and he's just wrecking shop. And he's also been possessed by this evil, these, I guess, for lack of a better term, they're witches.
Yeah.
So he's fighting his fellow Jedi, and they're like, and I mean, he's just destroying them. Just that in and of itself. I mean, there's just so many good fight scenes in that, and the stuff that's not great still isn't bad. I mean, it's infinitely better than Boba Fett. I enjoyed it more than Mando season 3. I think I liked it. I'd put it on.
I would not go that far. I mean, there were several episodes that just didn't hold my interest. You know what I mean?
Stuff I think was the weakest stuff, and that's because the kid actors weren't.
The kid actors are bad. I think the best actor in the series is the kid's mom, the like the main witch. I think is the best actress in the whole thing. Everybody else is just kind of okay, a little bland. The bad guy is good.
He's real good.
Yeah,
I mean,
a character I would love to see in other stuff.
Yeah. Which is a shame. So, even though there's not a season 2, I mean, I would still recommend, what is it? It's 6 hours, maybe,
Yeah.
Because the episodes are pretty short. So,
yeah. And I will say, just as a caveat, like, I did not set it up for success. I would watch one episode every 2.5 weeks, stop it in the middle when I got bored and do something else. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, I don't know that I gave it its full due. But it's my final verdict would be it was fine.
Yeah,
it was fine. But there's moments in there that I think I said before on here. If they had been in a movie, they would be iconic moments.
Yeah, that fight scene when they're in the woods, the first time they meet, like holy shit, man.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe if you don't want to watch the show, just go to YouTube and watch the fights.
No, I mean,
without context, I don't know.
Yeah,
that it's gonna.
I'm not interested. I would rather rather watch the show and see the fight and see the things in context. And I do like caring about characters. That's the thing.
Yeah, so. I mean, and the characters
you
are all
can probably
good.
get what you need out of this watching like 3 or 4 out of the 8. You know what I mean? Like this, I don't know. I think your brain could fill in the blanks.
Well, that was kind of the way like Obi-Wan was like that. There was a lot of greatness in Obi-Wan with a lot of mediocrity. I did not like Book of Boba Fett. Mando season 3, I was like, it
was fine.
I don't know. The Star Wars discourse just completely like.
Yeah, it's not the best.
It almost makes me just not even bother with it.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people feel that way. It's just too, like the people that care too much.
That you're damn right, dude. And we're seeing a mirror of that on the Star Trek side with the people who love Star Trek Discovery and are just melting down because, God forbid, after 5 seasons they just move on and do something else, and then you have people who are happy for obvious reasons because they just don't like the show for obvious reasons. I gave that show a shot, and the first season I just couldn't take to it. I've had a lot of people
gets better.
Okay, I've heard that. So I think at some point I'm going to go back and start season 2 of Discovery, but it didn't hold me. It was like this is. I felt like there was potential there, but like I didn't like. I don't know. So
yeah, in the second season they kind of course correct.
Okay, I heard that. Didn't they have a new showrunner in the second season?
I don't know, but they run into the Enterprise, and you get to meet.
I've seen that.
You get to meet Anson Mount as Captain Pike, and he is so kind of revolutionary in that role that it changes the show. You know what I mean? Like, and going forward, he's not in it in successive seasons.
Well, and I enjoyed most of Strange New Worlds. Like, I really liked a lot of it. Not all of it, but most of it.
Right, but his he's like a steadying presence in that show, and then from there it gets better. Now it's still what you would call, I guess, aggressively woke at times, but it does pack it does pack an emotional punch, and a lot of times you get caught up in the stories. There's a lot of crying, which I could do without. But there's some really cool moments and ideas. It's different enough from the original and the TNG that I can see why hardcore fans are like, this is not why we liked the old show.
Well, different's not bad as long as like, you know what I mean? Like things have to operate within their own structure, within their own rules and stuff like that. I just think as long as you keep the essence of what Star Trek is, that's like, you know what I mean? Like with any character, any universe that we have, like I think most level-headed people who don't like this stuff, they're simply looking for the essence of what makes the IP work. And then you have people who just love everything, and they're going to tell you you're an asshole and you're a whatever buzzword you want to. You can fill in any fucking buzzword you want right here because you don't like something. And then there's people who just outright hate shit to hate it. So
yeah. Well, at one point, Stacey Abrams, the Georgia politician, shows up as the president of Earth, and I was like, all right, this might be pushing your agenda a little bit, but.
That's a little on the nose. That is
democracy manifest.
But I can tell you the last 2 seasons, I looked forward each week to the episode.
All right. So I mean, like based on that and what I've heard from other people, like I'm gonna probably over the winter is when I tend to rewatch comfort stuff. Like every couple of years, I rewatch like seasons 2 through like 5 or 6 of Next Generation, and so I might throw Discovery in there and at least try to get past season 2 and see what happens after that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not to say they're all winners, but I enjoyed it, and you probably will too.
Okay, good recommendation. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, you guys want to go back in the day?
Let's do it.
Back in the
Back in the day. We have an update for Back in the Day. I think, was it last episode or the episode before where we were doing the top 10 countdown and we talked about that Stars on 45 was in the top 10 songs, and I was like, I couldn't figure out what it was. It's apparently some sort of like a medley of popular songs at the time. So my listener, my brother-in-law listens, Tony, and he sent me, he knew what it was because he's a little older than us. He said it was a club version of the Stars on 45. They did dozens of them, but the Beatles medley is the one that charted first. So that would have been the one we were talking about. So I went on YouTube and found it. It's like a 12-minute long Beatles medley. Obviously it would have been shorter for the radio, like he said, but it is, imagine the Beatles with disco music in the background, and it's that bad. It's fucking terrible. So that is what Stars on 45 was. So
that's like a Hooked on Classics, except with popular music. That's really weird.
I guess. Yeah. So some good anniversaries. We had Weird Science released on August 2nd, 1985. That's a undisputed Gen X classic, I feel like. Stars our boy Dr. Doom's in it. That is a great flick, though. The Blob, the remake of The Blob was August 5th, 1988, which is
great movie. Great
remake and just an all-around good movie. Kim Basinger's in that and surprisingly gets killed off. Pretty gruesomely. And that's one of those, like, there were a bunch of those movies that got The Thing is a remake, The Fly is a remake, this was a remake.
Yeah. Body Snatchers. Body Snatchers was like, what was that, 79?
It was like that was a little bit before this, but there was a period there where they were remaking all those classic movies, and they're all really good. And The Blob is really good. I
would argue.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I would argue. Well, The Thing is my favorite horror movie, so I'm biased on there. I would argue The Fly better than the original. Good argument for Body.
Jeff Goldblum is great.
Yeah,
and like The Blob,
Body Snatchers, I think is better than the original, and Jeff Goldblum's in that too.
Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum.
I mean, The Blob is I think The Blob is the only one where it's like the original relies so heavily on like Steve McQueen and just like the famous scene and right near right down the road there.
The remake's better.
I am inclined to agree that it is.
Yeah. There's a
I
lot.
have not seen that since I was a little kid.
What about Son of the Blob?
Dude, Son of the Blob is great. The remake is very, very good. And I like how at the beginning it introduces you to the character, and you think that's going to be the main character, and then he dies.
He's dead.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, that's a good spoilers.
I couldn't believe that. Wait, so
Spoilers
Quinn, are you planning on watching this anytime in the?
I'll watch it at some point. Sure,
it's good.
There's a death scene in the movie that I just to this day I still can't believe they got to keep in the movie. You know what I'm talking about, Brian? When they're down in the sewer type thing.
Oh yeah, that's a great death. That movie's really, really good.
I think he can spoil any movie that's over.
Yeah, any movie from the 80s.
The death of a child. It's the death of a freaking child. He dies
And
he gets horribly dissolved by the blob.
Kids generally don't, die in really any movie.
Yeah, and
they did when we were kids, man.
Yeah. Speaking of dead kids,
you remember the fountain of kid blood in Jaws?
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But it's like even so, we didn't see, that was still we didn't.
You didn't really see it though. This is a pretty graphic death. Yeah.
Yeah, the death in the blob is pretty graphic.
It's pretty graphic. And then another good anniversary. Slap Me Around and Call Me Susan. Blank Man was released August 19th, 1994.
Blank Man. Yeah.
That's a great movie too. I watched a bunch of highlights of that movie yesterday because I saw that it had the anniversary was up. And dude, there are so many funny parts of that movie.
I've seen that and so probably I probably haven't watched that since the 90s. But I used to watch it all the time.
Yeah, that's a great movie. Damon Wayans, David Alan Grier, Robin Givens, right, is the female lead in that, I think.
I think I saw that in the theater, and I don't think I've seen it since.
Oh man, it's so good. And that was a different take on his character Handyman that was in Living Color.
Yeah,
would never in a million years fly now. Like
right.
In no way, shape, or form.
No, that was.
I mean, I don't even think it would have flown for a major. I mean, obviously, if they thought it would have flown as a major picture, they would have just been like, "Fuck it, just do Handyman." But they tweaked it enough that But that is a really fucking funny movie. And then I saw a couple weeks ago, Left 4 Dead, the great video game, Left 4 Dead, turned 16, which is crazy because how many nights did we spend?
A lot.
Quinn and Bolo and me, and and Bob Hosshess playing Left 4 Dead. Man, that game.
That's still a great game.
Yeah, one of the all-time great multiplayer video games of all time. I think it's just.
I would play that later tonight if you wanted to. I love that game.
Yeah, it never got old. And I mean, for a game that only had like 4 or 5 levels, it was never the same game. There were times where you would make it past the first room. There were times when you would make it very far and get so close, but the helicopter would be right there. And then,
you'd have to make hilarious decisions like, do I leave Bolo behind and jump on this helicopter?
Yeah.
Do I lock Brian out of the safe house?
Yeah. There were many nights where we were like, Bolo, if you do not get in the safe house, we're shutting the door.
I remember that.
Yeah.
That little horn would go off right before you knew the horde was coming.
Yeah. Oh, dude, what a great game.
Yeah.
That
was great.
And then I guess the big back in the day, August 1st, 1981 was the world debut of a little channel called MTV.
Yeah.
So I have gone and I've got the first 10 videos that they played.
I was hoping we were going to hear the bump, well,
God, you remember where you were, Brian?
Oh, we didn't get cable, I think, until like 82 or 83.
I remember it was on channel 13 where I lived.
And I watched it all day the first day.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I mean, it went live. It had technical difficulties. There were stretches of apparently with dead air. They played. They miscued certain videos. Things. There were a lot of technical snafus. But the first 10 videos played, and I'm not going to play them 10 to 1. I'm going to play them 1 to 10 because I feel like everybody knows what the first video played on MTV was, right?
The Buggles.
Yep. Appropriate for MTV.
Yeah.
Very prescient. I still love that song. That song comes on now. I still listen to the whole thing.
Yeah, that's a good one. And again, like I said, appropriate. And then apparently after they played this video, there was like a little PSA on what MTV was and what the basic, conceit of the channel was, I guess. And then
did we meet all the VJs that same day or no? I forget.
I would be surprised. Probably not.
Martha Quinn and that whole crew.
Mark Summers and not Mark Summers. That's the guy from Double Dare.
Good Mark Jackson, the guy with the curly hair.
The guy with the curly hair. My head is
Alan
somebody.
Yeah.
I wasn't even born yet. I don't know what the hell.
JJ
I wasn't there that day.
And we got the second video, little Pat Benatar.
I was talking about her the other day. There's nobody that sounds like her.
Well, it's funny that you say that because that immediately makes me think of who the hell is that band? They won a metal Grammy a couple of years ago. They're not good. Damn it. But that's what that reminds me of. But yeah, dude, Pat Benatar is awesome.
But there's just I've never heard a singer that sounds like that can copy her sound.
Like that.
So unique.
Yeah. Hailstorm is the band I'm thinking of.
I've never heard of them.
You know, okay, well, check out a Hailstorm song because they have
they sound like Pat Benatar.
Their lead singer has very strong Pat Benatar vibes. Lizzie Hale, yes. And she's a great singer. They actually, Skid Row actually just took her out and she did all the vocals for Skid Row and nailed it. It was awesome.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Third song is a Rod Stewart song. And when I looked it up to put it on here, it had the little E for explicit next to it. And I was like, what the fuck? So I looked up the lyrics and the lyrics, the song is She Won't Dance With Me. Some of the lyrics are, I want to dance and I want her ass. I want to fuck her. She's no relief. I don't know what's wrong with me. And I was like, Rod Stewart?
This is Rod Stewart.
Yeah, that's what I said. So then I
played
the
envelope back in the 80s.
Then I played it for Brandy, and because I have to listen to it like 3 times to get it edited down to where I want it. She was like, "You need to stop playing it. It's gross. It's creeping me out."
Rod Stewart creeped me out as a kid. Like every video he was in, I would turn it off.
Yeah, well, here it is. So I'm assuming that's not the version they played on MTV, but
I'm just picturing you playing that in your house
over and over
and over.
As I try to get it down to the exact length that I wanted it to be. The number 4 video is a classic.
When I say I love you, you say you better. When I say
Man, they played that all the time.
Yeah. It's funny because they didn't have a ton of stuff to play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, which is why it's so eclectic too, because like none of this shit really flows together.
I remember every time I turn on MTV for a long stretch, it was always Waiting on a Friend by the Rolling Stones was always on.
Yep.
This one I don't remember at all. It's Little Susie's on the Up by PhD.
Let me hear it.
I remember that.
No memory of that one at all.
Same here, none at all. And I couldn't find it. I had to get the YouTube video of it. I couldn't find it. It on streaming anywhere. So, yeah. Number 6, We Don't Talk Anymore. It's so funny. This is a song you would have never thought about again until right now.
I was just going to say, if you didn't play this just now, I would have never thought of that song again.
I didn't know what it was. I got to the chorus. I was like, holy shit. I know this song. So, yeah, that's one of those. Yeah.
Who's saying that?
Cliff Richard.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
How could I forget?
Yeah. And then
it's Little Richard's brother.
Richard's brother, Cliff. And then number 7 is another absolute classic.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Remember in college we had a Pearl Jam bootleg concert where he sang part of this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff.
What a great song this is. Still to this day.
All right. Number 8 is another one that you'll probably hadn't thought of in a long time. Todd Rundgren.
Yeah.
Which is, number 9's a classic.
Exactly.
Stone Cold classic, though.
Oh, yeah.
Bolo jamming to this song is cracking me up.
Taken on the Run by REO Speedwagon. That's a bad song. God. And then rounding out the first 10 videos, we have Rockin' in Paradise by Stick.
That didn't move the needle for me either. The ones I remember Radio Gaga by Queen being on there all the time.
Yeah. Rounding out the remaining 25, you got When Things Go Wrong, which I don't remember. Robin Lane and the Chartbusters. History Never Repeats by Split Ends. Don't remember. Hold On Loosely by 38 Special. Remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
Number 14, Just Between You and Me by April Wine. 15, Sailing is Sailing by Rod Stewart. 16, we get the first metal song, Iron Maiden by Iron Maiden. Then we got 17, another REO Speedwagon, Keep On Loving You. Number 18, Bluer Than Blue by Michael Johnson. Don't recall that one. Message of Love by The Pretenders is 19, and Mr. Briefcase by Lee Ritenour is number 20. We get some Phil Collins at 22 Within the Air Tonight. We get number 25 is Stop Dragging My Heart Around by Stevie Nicks and
Tom Petty
and the Heartbreakers. Yeah. So that was the beginning. For that day, they played 116 videos, total of 209 videos played. 116 of them were unique videos, I should say. And then they repeated popular videos throughout the day. You Better You Bet was the first video repeated. Just Between You and Me, and In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins were each played 5 times. And Rod Stewart made the most total appearances that day, with 11 of his videos being played a total of 16 times. So
wow.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said,
so I was uncomfortable a lot that day.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, right? So, but they didn't have a lot to play, So yeah, and they've never stopped playing videos since. It's crazy. So
yeah, it's still going to this day.
Still to this day,
uninterrupted.
Playing music videos. Do you think
it's funny that when they stopped doing that, they contributed more to the downfall of society?
Oh yeah,
than if they just continued to play rock and roll.
Yeah, way more. God. So yeah. Do you think there's like a place for MTV now? It's like a retro. I mean, do you think they could just get away with playing videos? Have they lost the rights to some of the did the rights to the videos
Probably
go away at some point? You think? Like, could they just be like, fuck it, you know what, guys, we're going back to playing videos. Here we go, starting tomorrow. Or would they have to re-get the rights to all of that stuff?
You could find it. You'll find it on Pluto TV. That's where you'll get that version of MTV.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of music video channels on, like Pluto has them, Roku channel, the Roku TV has it. I think Tubi probably has it.
But do they have like the 30-year library or like?
What I mean, you can just go to Pluto or like a Roku TV. They have just like 80s, and it'll just be nothing but 80s videos.
There you go.
On repeat, yeah. So yeah, but I mean, I just feel like with the way music is now with streaming and everything, there's just no, you know, who's going to sit at home and hope to catch their favorite video on TV when you can just pull it up on YouTube.
Yeah.
Do you remember how great it was when there was a movie you wanted to see coming out, but the video for one of the songs that was in the movie was already out, and it would have clips from the movie in it?
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no internet, so that's all you could see.
That's all you could see. Yeah.
Dude, that is why, like, summer of 1995, Kiss from a Rose and Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me, Kill Me. Just
Batman Forever.
Getting ready for Batman Forever.
Yeah.
A movie that I will defend until I die. And
you may have to.
Hopefully next year at the anniversary, hopefully we'll finally get the Schumacher cut of Batman Forever.
Oh God.
No, nobody wants that.
Dude. Oh, you are so fucking wrong, my friend. You are so wrong.
It's my understanding. It's a different movie. It literally
much darker.
Much darker. Because
I still don't think it. I don't think it changes much about like Tommy Lee Jones's Two-Face, and like the zany shit's still in there. But like, if you watched have you ever seen any of the deleted scenes, Bolo?
Yes, I have.
So like the part where he goes into the cave, finds his dad's journal, figures out that it wasn't his fault that his parents got killed that night. The scenes of him that was the shit, dude, because they had the scenes of him confronting the giant bat. In the fucking like in the I think it was in some of the commercials, and it was definitely in one or two of the music videos. I think.
For the listeners, Dutch just jumped out of his chair. So excited about that.
He's very excited.
The giant the giant bat was awesome. I almost called it. It was kind of like man bat, but
they actually said it was too scary for children, so they
said we can't sell Happy Meal toys with this.
Batman Forever. Here's my Batman hot take. Batman Forever is so much more of a Batman movie than Batman Returns will ever be.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree.
Yeah,
I mean, it has pure Batman moments.
Believe me, I don't have any love for Batman. I don't have a ton of love for Batman Returns. Honestly.
I did when I was a kid, not so much. It's not.
I got 2 words for you for Batman Returns: Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah. Catwoman's solid in that.
She was awesome. She was great.
And Michael Keaton still, in my opinion, is the best one.
That Batman of that era, I think so. Yeah.
Kilmer was a pretty good Batman, though.
He's no
I don't hate on Kilmer's performance either.
Really good Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. But Jim Carrey over the top and Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah. My only problem was Tommy Lee Jones was trying to out Riddler the Riddler in that movie.
Doesn't work. Does not work.
Yeah, no. Jim Carrey, fucking great. I loved him as the Riddler. I mean, it felt like perfect casting at the time, even though they bandied about Robin Williams for a while.
Yeah.
Look, Jim Carrey has that lanky kind of like look. Like he looks like what you'd expect the Riddler to kind of almost look like, at least in the comic book sense at the time.
Right. Agreed.
And I loved Robin.
I forgot he was even in there.
As a matter of fact, Quinn,
go ahead, Bolo.
Going back to the Miss Harriet character, we kind of had that in the Batman with Pattinson. The woman who answered the phone when Alfred.
I was hoping they were going to call her Aunt Harriet. He's like, well, I forgot what the hell was her name. I was like, really? You couldn't go Harriet on that one?
Yeah,
but
right.
By the way, I did.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I was correct. Aunt Harriet was created in 1964. She was co-created by Bill Finger, and she predated the one in the TV show.
Wow.
But very, very close, like only 2 years apart.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna have to watch the Pattinson one again. I liked it, but it's just forgettable for me. It's like not
long.
I saw that movie 4 times in the theater.
It's not sticking in my memory like you would want it to be. So.
It is long though.
It's long because you have a 5-minute sequence of Batman walking into a room. You know what I mean? To give that, you know, the mystique of the character, because he didn't have smoke bombs yet. You know what I mean? And at the end, he uses smoke, you know, from the extinguishers, which was great. He comes out of the
says, you don't want this smoke.
But if you're gonna spend 5 minutes of him walking in the room, you got to cut 5 minutes somewhere else. Make some decisions.
I know
exactly, because that dragged on.
Definitely loved that movie.
Yeah.
It's good. I liked it a lot.
I liked it a lot. I liked the whole tone of it. Like I said, it just doesn't register like the other ones did.
Yeah, it's a bit long. Okay, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in, everyone. This was episode 25. We did it. Made it to episode. Us out over the past year. Tell your friends about us. Thanks everyone who's hosted. Other than this core group here, don't let me forget anybody, Dutch. We've had Kyle and Matt from Kaiju Transmissions.
Who the hell are those guys?
Those guys. We've spamming up my social media with Vin Diesel memes. Vin Diesel memes. We've had
today was brutal.
Yeah. I know, I did notice that. We had Aaron, 2 Aarons. We had Aaron from the Autopod Decepticast, which is a great podcast you should definitely check out. We also had I'm Not a Gen X Aaron. I don't even think he's a millennial Aaron. He's like a Gen Z Aaron. Maybe not. He must be a millennial, right? And of course, Mike Russo, my co-host on Coffee and Kaiju, and good pal. And I think that pretty much sums everybody up that we've had on. So thanks to those guys. Oh, and David Dobko, who was on our Halloween episode, which is he wants to do another Halloween episode this year. So I'm totally down for that. And thanks you guys for doing all this with me and making all my podcasting dreams come true.
Thank you for the invite. I appreciate you.
Hey man, no, thank you. All right.
Are you waiting to receive my limp penis?
Yo,
I was only supposed to be on a couple episodes, and somehow,
and here we are. You were just, I was just like, you want to talk about Superman on an episode, and here we are. You've been on more than anybody other than me and Quinn. I think easily you have. So, but yes, thanks everybody for tuning in. Shoot us a text message through the app, which is cool, or you can just send us an email at Gen X Lounge. Tell your friends about the podcast because that's how we get. genxlounge@gmail.com. Jesus. Tell your friends about the podcast because that's how we get in your listeners. Give us 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you use. And I think that's it. You guys have anything else you want to add to the thingity thing?
Nope, I'm good.
Thank you, Derek. I want to see those football cards.
Yeah, you have to come. You have to swing by and I'll give them to you. I also got a bunch of Star Wars or Star Trek Christmas ornaments for you too.
What?
Yeah, man. Oh, and I have my sister gave me a Spider-Man baseball jersey for you as well. So I have like a
Quinn will never wear it. I tried to give him stuff like that before in the past.
I know, but I was like, well, I'll give it to him.
I still have to have it.
Yeah, I mean, why would you not have it?
Exactly.
So like a whole care package waiting for you at my house. All right, gents, everybody, thanks for listening. Have a good evening, and we will see you next time. Bye, 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 bye.
hand off my penis!